What if I told you the hours you spend mindlessly scrolling don't just disappear, they take something from you? It sounds impossible, but neuroscientists have discovered why your phone isn't just stealing your time. It's rewriting the way your brain experiences reality. Before I explain, try this quick test. Think about your screen time from yesterday. Now try to recall one specific thing you saw during those hours. Just one. Strange, isn't it? It's like those hours never really happened. They exist in some kind of void where time moves differently. For decades, scientists thought they understood time perception. When you're engaged, time flies. When you're bored, time drags. That's why most people assume screen time feels fast, because it's entertaining. But when researchers at MIT and Stanford studied this, the math wasn't adding up. They found something shocking. People weren't just losing track of time. They were experiencing time fundamentally differently than any other activity in human history. Your brain understands time by linking together moments of focused attention, like beads on a necklace. Each moment becomes a memory, and those memories create your sense of time. But something is breaking this system. Phones have introduced a new kind of attention, micro attention, where your focus is constantly switching every few seconds. Every notification, every scroll, every new image, every like, every comment, your attention fractures into smaller and smaller pieces. And here's the terrifying part. Neuroscientists found that it takes your brain 23 seconds to fully engage with new information, but the average person switches attention every 6 seconds. That means your brain never finishes processing anything. It's like trying to take a photograph while shaking the camera. Instead of forming full memories, your brain creates fragments, like thousands of blurry photos that never fully develop. Want to see this in action? Try this experiment. Think about your last vacation. You can probably remember specific moments, conversations, even how things felt. Now, try to remember what you looked at during your last scrolling session. Even if you spent hours, it feels like trying to recall a dream. This is because your brain has two main ways of processing experience. Active processing creates clear memories, builds real neural pathways, and makes time feel real. Passive processing creates weak memories, doesn't build pathways, and makes time feel like a blur. But your phone has invented a third state, fragmented processing, where your brain is constantly starting but never finishing its memory cycle. This is why people in their 20s and 30s are experiencing something that used to only happen to the elderly. Time is speeding up exponentially each year, and it's even worse for kids born after 2010. They're the first generation growing up with fragmented attention as their default state. Their brains are literally developing differently because they process time differently than any generation before. We're seeing it everywhere: rising ADHD diagnoses, increased anxiety, memory issues, difficulty with focus, all tracking perfectly with smartphone adoption rates. But here's the good news. Your brain hasn't lost its ability to process time normally. The system is still there. It's just being overwhelmed by fragmentation. Think of it like trying to have a conversation while someone interrupts you every 6 seconds. Eventually, you stop trying to form complete thoughts. But once you understand this, you can hack the system, not by quitting your phone completely, but by using it differently. Instead of letting your attention fragment, you need to create temporal bookends, clear start and stop points that allow your brain to finish its natural processing cycle. For example, choose 3 specific videos to watch instead of endlessly scrolling. Read exactly 5 posts before putting your phone down. Spend a defined 15 minutes on messages instead of checking constantly. When you start doing this, something incredible happens. time starts feeling normal again. Your days feel richer, fuller, more memorable, more like they did when you were younger. Imagine looking back on your week and actually remembering what happened, instead of losing entire days to the digital void, because time isn't just passing, it's being experienced. Or, in the case of mindless scrolling, not experienced at all. Your phone isn't just consuming hours, it's altering the way you process reality itself. But now that you understand the mechanism, you can take back control, not just of your schedule, but of time itself.